and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an episode of Highly Opinionated right here on the Sports Box. I am Brian Attard, joined by fellow Sports Box host Mike Velardi, and you may wonder where Mike Galletta is right now. Mike is on his way. Mike is running a little bit late tonight, but we're going to pick up our teammate. Michael, how are you? You're on the show. You're just been sitting in that seat the whole night. How was your show prior to this one?
I'm feeling fantastic right now.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, Sports Box Nation, dude.
Highly Opinionated on the Sports Box, brought to you by All-Star Entertainment Disc Jockeys, weddings, graduations, parties, photo booths, and more. 609-271-3900. And Michael, did you know that if you mention the Sports Box, you get 20% off your booking?
That's such a great deal.
You know who's like running the call right now is Dave Birnbaum, who he just loves a good deal.
He does love a good deal.
That's very obvious.
He needs to get that shirt ironed though today.
He needs to get, I think he could have afforded to buy a shirt there.
Yeah.
So a big show tonight. I think we're gonna take a look back at the ends of the seasons, the NBA and the NHL. A little bit predictable on one side, a little bit not so predictable on the other side. Talk a little bit about that. So Golden State wins, water is wet. I am not a basketball fan, but if you watch the show, I did say Warriors over Cavs in 5 before the season started, and I was game off. Is this predictability good for basketball?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think everybody in the world knew that Golden State was going to win that series, as Vegas knew with a minus 1,800 money line.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen what the sweep bet would have been, and it was probably a nice. I think that they thought maybe Cleveland wins a game, but you knew they weren't going to win the series.
Well, it's here's the thing, and we talk about this on actually a couple of shows now, is that basketball is used to this. There's something about it where you get these dominant teams and they just kind of go for streaks. There was a string of about 21 years where there was only 2 or 3 where it wasn't the Lakers, the Celtics, or both, and that's just basketball. What I think the problem is you're going to have a situation where it's not even and we talk, obviously we're near Phil, we talk about the Sixers and everything and in the process and all of that. But we're going to be in a situation where these superstars are going to determine where they go, and the balance of power is constantly going to be with them. You talk about now LeBron James is minus 110 to join the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Again, he's pretty much dictating the balance of power. And look at the Warriors now, rumored to go trade for Anthony Davis.
Yeah. I don't even think the NBA will allow that. They blocked the Chris Paul deal a couple years ago.
Can I ask you, now I'm not a big basketball guy. On what grounds can a league block a trade? If 2 teams agree to it, I'm not a big...
I don't agree with it, but I mean, I guess they're trying to keep the Warriors from not losing a game next year, maybe? I don't know. I mean, you want to talk about the NBA, already the NBA is just kind of like, okay, well, let's see who Golden State's going to play in the finals. That's all it is right now in the last 2-3 years, 4 years.
But you've got 60-win coaches getting fired.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just...
Exactly.
Joe Rickson, would fans rather see Golden State versus Toronto in 5 or 6 or LeBron get swept? Not sure which would garner better ratings. I still think it's LeBron. Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but see, I think, and I've always thought this, that LeBron going to a major market, and I don't mean like Miami, like I mean the Lakers or the Celtics or the Knicks, like one of the bigger markets or storied teams in basketball, I think that changes the equation a little bit. And I think that gets more people into it. I talk a lot about baseball. Baseball's better when the Yankees and the Red Sox are loaded for bear and just are there.
Right,
like exactly right now. I don't think baseball's been this hot since 2004. Yeah. So the problem with the NBA is just these guys are going to dictate where they're going to go. And at the end of the day, that's free agency. Yeah. So you can't necessarily say, oh, well, we don't want you to... It's not going to work. And these players are not going to agree to it in the CBA.
No. Back to Joe's question, I think... Do you think the public hates LeBron? I don't think that they want to see him lose. But I think that the whole thing with the Jordan and LeBron thing comes back up, and people love Jordan so much that they don't want to see LeBron succeed. I don't know.
I've thought this for a while now. Basketball is different era to era. So I just don't think it's fair to Jordan or LeBron. really more so LeBron, because that's big shoes to fill because Jordan was there first.
Right.
To try to figure out, who was better. And you could sit there and say, hey, Jordan never lost a final.
Right.
But LeBron also made 3 more.
We talked about it on the show prior to this one, and Julius Erving was down at the Borgata today, and he was
We're going to talk about that today.
He placed the first bet at Borgata, but they actually came out and asked him who he thought the best player in NBA history was. He said Kareem. That was his, and he did play in that era versus him.
Sure.
But as we were talking, I think Irving might have played till around 1990, so he got 4, 5, 6 years of Jordan. You know what I mean? But Jordan didn't hit that stride until the early 90s with the Bulls.
Right.
So but still, it's to hear him say that it's pretty interesting.
So Joe Rickson, again, we're still trying to figure out the Chris Paul commissioner veto. Yeah, I mean, this is the way the league's going to go, and I think the problem you're going to have is you're going to lose fans and these small markets that really struggle as it is because they're not going to be able to compete, and that's just facts. I mean, that's what it is.
Is that let's say the Sixers did get to the finals? Do you think a Sixers Warriors would have been any different?
This Sixers team?
Yeah. Do you think the Sixers win a game?
No.
But do you think it's better for the NBA to see the Sixers somebody different than LeBron? I think so.
See, here's the thing, right? The Warriors remind me a lot of the Yankees, but not yet there. But they're becoming the Patriots. They're becoming that hated entity,
right?
That either you root for them or you don't, and their fans are very smug, so on and so forth. Do I think it's bad for the NBA? I think it's bad for the NBA if they win every year,
right?
But the problem is, and this is something I really believe too, the talk of Golden State as a super team. I disagree with that. I'm going to tell you why. They drafted 3 of these guys. It's not as if they went out and they poached these superstar players from other teams.
Durant's the only guy that they signed. They had
signed
Curry, they had Draymond, they had Clay. They had those guys.
And these guys weren't even early picks. They didn't tag the Sixers, did it?
Curry was the 13th or 14th pick.
Wasn't Draymond or Klay Thompson a second-round pick? That's crazy when you really think about it.
Curry was a steal. I don't know why everybody just passed him up.
Well, I mean,
But and Stephen A. Smith, I believe, said he is the best shooter he's ever seen. That's high praise. That's very high praise. Mm-hmm. Well, It is.
Again, I think, me personally, for example, let me ask you this question. And you're the bigger basketball guy than I am, but if the Sixers do land a big superstar this offseason, and I think we kind of both expect them to do that, they're in a position now to do exactly that.
Or trade somebody.
Okay, so now they had a bunch of number 1 picks and a superstar. Are they going to be a super team? Is that going to be a moniker that we give them? Because they were a bunch of draft picks and a guy that you signed.
They're always going to be noted as the process. That's going to be their mantra. Okay, so whatever they do, it's because of Hinkie and how he traded guys away and he traded picks. He stockpiled. That's what they're going to be known as. They're not going to be known as a super team, which I don't think is possible anymore. If they do land LeBron, or get Kawhi Leonard, or go out and get a big time free agent, they did draft Embiid. They did draft Simmons, like you were saying.
They paid the price to do that.
But, like you said, there was a reason. They were the worst team in the NBA 3 of those years to get those 2 guys. And Fultz isn't even panning out yet. So, it is what it is right now.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm going to ask you as one of our resident Sixers fans, the Sixers are getting a little bit, bashed here. I mean, now you hear that it was Colangelo who overrode, it sounds like, and you know what? This could also easily be sour grapes from the guys who are still there and wanting to shove the blame on the guy who's no longer there and he can take it because he's not there anymore. But, I know Anthony Morello, one of our Sports Box hosts, said on your show that he'd like to trade Fultz right now because it's the only chance to get any value for him.
Which I agree with.
See, I disagree with that. I think you're selling so low, it doesn't even...
But what if he comes out and gets hurt again, or if he's like a total bust at number 1, as a number 1 pick?
I just think he...
That's where you have to kind of
Let me ask you this question. This is a serious question. If you had to trade Markelle Fultz right now, straight up, we're not packaging a deal, straight up, what do you think he's worth? What do you think
a pick or a person?
However you want to interpret that.
I think right now he's worth a 6-man. He's not even worth a starter right now.
Fine.
Right now.
Okay. So how much lower does that go? What I'm saying is the juice worth the squeeze to sell him right now? Wouldn't you rather take the shot that he figures it out. There was a reason this guy went number 1 in the draft. It wasn't
They
because
moved up to get him too.
Right. But regardless of that, he was a consensus top 3 pick by everybody.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So it's not as if the guy doesn't have the talent. Right? My question becomes...
He has the talent. You can see he has flashes. He's going to be okay. I just don't know. As a number 1 pick, you want a guy who's going to be great.
I could... But he still could be. What I'm
could
saying,
be.
He's still the same guy. He just didn't have a lot of success, and you don't know what that leads to.
Right.
To me, I'm not willing to sell low on this guy. I'm willing to take the chance that he figures it out. Because if he does it, okay, do I really need a 6th man? Like, how much?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I kind of get what me and Hess were saying about the whole thing. And if he flops this year, you're not going to get anything for him.
But even then, I just don't think it's worth it. Aunt Morella brings up a great point. As well, the Rangers ever win another cup? Asking for a friend. I am that friend. For those of you who don't know, today is the anniversary. 24 years ago, the New York Rangers ended the 54-year curse and won the Stanley Cup. Was the most important day of my life prior to getting married and having a baby. But I got to tell you, we're going to talk a little hockey here in a little bit, but it's a fair question. I think my wonderful situation when I was 10 years old might never happen again, and I need to be cognizant of that. I think that the odds would say no.
I had the Phillies in 08 and then the Eagles last year, but from 08 to 1980, I was waiting. So, do I think...
Well, I mean...
another 54 years.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, listen, I've seen the Yankees win. I've seen the Cowboys win. I don't really... That doesn't really...
But the Rangers is your team.
Right, absolutely, yeah. I mean, as I've said this before,
they're your team.
If the Cowboys ceased to exist, it wouldn't necessarily negatively impact my life. Like, I'd get over it. If you took a hockey team away, I'd probably... I'd even want... Yeah. So... Golden State winning again. I'm gonna go on record and predict they're gonna win again next year.
Well, that's a tough prediction to make.
But you know what? Listen, it doesn't always have to be going out on a limb, right? That's what I think happens because they're the best team, and it sounds like they're only going to get better. And honestly, let me tell you what: if I'm an NBA free agent, right? If it's going to cost me a little bit less to go to Golden State, guess where I'm going to go? I'm going to go to Golden State, and I'm going to ride the bench, and I'm going to get a ring or two.
I was just going to say that, but the problem is when do these guys? And it hasn't happened yet from my knowledge. When do these guys say to themselves, I want to go somewhere and play? They must really love to be on Golden State and have a great team camaraderie and all that stuff to actually, the starting 5 that's there is very good. Okay?
But they did draft most of it.
They did.
And you have to just give them credit because everybody, the super team,
But if you get a free agent to go there now, are they really going to are they going to start? I mean, like Paul George, you would think he's going to start if he goes there. Who's he going to play in front of? That's what I'm saying. When does it become,
it's a good problem.
okay,
it's a good problem
let's go against them. Let's make a super team of our own and go against them, like Miami did back in the day.
See, but that's the problem. And Dan Williams says Boston beats Dubs next year. Listen, I'll tell you this, Dan. Oof. Again, not a big basketball guy, but I love what Boston's doing.
I just don't think they have enough yet.
Well,
even though Gordon Hayward and Kyrie, if they're loaded, I still don't think.
Do not be surprised if they trade Kyrie Irving this offseason.
Yeah,
everything you hear is that he's not ready or he's not going to sign there.
Yeah.
Now the question that could you take Kyrie Irving? Do you maybe trade him straight up for Kawhi Leonard and do the Spurs do that?
I think it's going to take one more person. I think if it is Kyrie, they're going to have to give them one other person besides in that deal. I don't think Kawhi for Kyrie goes straight up.
Oh, hey! Mike Galletta making his Ali-like return to the sports box.
Fresh from the north.
Fresh from Canada.
No, actually, it was pretty nice. It was actually nicer up there than it was
Did
down
you go up the CM Tower?
No, you know what? It was closed.
You went to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
I did.
Yeah.
I was right down the street. The tower was closed to the thunderstorms, but...
We're going to get to you in just a quick second.
I'm back!
Joe Rickson, Danny Ainge will hold on to 17 useless draft picks he could have traded for what got them over the hump. I'll believe it when I see it. Dan Williams talking Kyrie, Brown, Hayward, Tatum, and Horford. That closing 5 wins. So we're talking a little basketball.
Yep.
I'll get a little bit of your take here.
Yep.
Warriors good for basketball. I think it is what it is. I don't think they're a super team. I hate that because it wasn't a bunch of free agents that went and kind of got together. A lot of these guys were drafted by the Warriors, and give them credit where credit's due. To me, I don't like that moniker because it gives the impression that these guys, they pulled a LeBron, what he did with Bosh, and go to Miami. That wasn't what it was.
Well, see, they won 2 without Durant there, or they won 1 without Durant.
Yeah.
And when they got Durant, they were that much better. But this is the product of the NBA. wanting to do this with free agency, so they're going to get what they get with this. I mean, this is what the age of the NBA is now. I know you don't like the term, but build a super team, and that's what LeBron did when he went to Miami the first time. He won 2 championships there. The Warriors, if you want to say that they didn't do it on purpose, they just added more depth with Durant, and he's a killer. And then you got 5 guys on that team; they're just unstoppable. And next year it's going to be Houston.
But it's not that I don't like the term. I just don't think it's fair to call Golden State that, because these other teams. Again, and you mentioned Miami. Listen, LeBron went there. He brought Chris Bosh.
Yep.
This is a situation, and he really even. How about Houston with Chris Paul and James Harden? Like they're trying it.
They're trying, yeah.
Golden State drafted these guys,
and they did it before Durant got there.
Right, and I asked this question to Mike, and I asked this question to you. Mm-hmm. Sixers drafted Simmons and Embiid. If they go out and sign a guy or two, are they going to be called a super team? And is that fair?
No, the Sixers are different in progress. I don't know what Mike said about this, but I think the Sixers were at the bottom, and they always say trust the process. They're on their way up. They got, I wouldn't say lucky with the 2 guys they have, with the ability they had. They knew they were going to be good, but now you see it on the court. So they're not a super team yet. If they were to bring in, say, LeBron and Kyrie Irving, or Kawhi Leonard, then they're making a super team. But for now, they're just trying to get better.
Like Hess just said, Kyrie and the unprotected pick that the Kings get next year from the Sixers might get it done, and that may get it done. Well, if that's the case. He's going to get a supermax contract. And he's going to get in the 200.
And that's what it comes down to: who's going to get what money. That's what.
And the Sixers could pay it. The Lakers could pay it. The Celtics could probably pay it. So that doesn't matter. The NBA, the luxury, all that stuff gets thrown out the window.
I will say this, and I think a lot of people are not paying attention to this. Nothing's going to happen with Houston, and I think Houston's run might be over here because they got some serious cap issues.
Well, I think the opposite. I think they get LeBron, and they might get Paul George there. Yep.
Houston.
I've said that last year. I said he'd come around. I think that's the best landing spot.
The minus 110.
The Lakers have dropped to the
either that or Lakers. I thought either Houston or Lakers.
It looks like a Lakers thing right now.
Well, if he goes to the Lakers, he could be the man there. So I mean,
it's going to be the Lakers or the Sixers, I believe. And I'm not throwing the Sixers out yet, but I think the Lakers.
I don't know if he stays in the East. I think he tries to go to the West this time.
One thing I want to ask you guys your opinion, and again, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No,
I am.
No. I never knew that.
I just think it's very convenient that LeBron James had a broken hand. Because I see video of you grabbing an apple after game 2. I see you doing high fives with people, and you know what? He played very well.
He put up 30+ in both games.
You know what?
You couldn't be able to hold a ball if you broke your hand.
Right.
You know what?
And some people, the LeBron diehard fans out there are going to say, well, he's superhuman. I'm sure he could do that.
Bull.
Listen, you break your hand in any facet. I don't care if you crack it, chip it, whatever. It's going to bother you. It's going to swell. It's going to hurt you. And to tell me that he had a soft cast on after game and nobody saw him, come on. I mean, that's
an apple.
If it was me with him, I would have never even brought that up. If his hand was broken or it wasn't, after the whole series, I would never brought that up because now it looks worse because it's an excuse now.
Joe Rickson, I love LeBron. That's why people don't like LeBron. In fact, let me ask you this question.
Well, why would you bring it up? Because it's an excuse.
Didn't he like huff, puff, and run away from his press after game 1 to hold a stupid little purse?
Yeah.
Well, he had a broken hand, supposedly. I mean,
listen, I'm not trying to hate on LeBron here. Seriously, I don't like some people have chimed in on with me about this, but I don't like the whole thing that he shook people's hands walking off the floor when they took him out of the game. Then he just darted right off the floor. I don't like that. He should have, hung around a little bit. He wants to shake people's hands. I have no problem with that, but he can't just dart off the floor.
Best player of the generation, but I will say this: he doesn't lose with grace.
No.
And you go back to the Mavs series, right? He's like, I'm LeBron James. You're going to have your life, and I'm going to keep living my life. Yeah, okay, we understand. You're almost a billionaire.
He was pissed in that series because he got swept in that series.
He doesn't lose with grace.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that you need to be like happy-go-lucky about it because I understand that. Like, as winners want to win.
Yeah.
But you got to be a little bit less of a dick. How about that?
The NBA makes him out to be a role model in the face of the NBA. He's got to show a little more class.
And I predicted Warriors win next year. Water is wet.
Yeah, you think about it. Unless really one team builds a monster, who's going to beat the Warriors? They just come at you in waves. I mean, they could be down 10, 11, 12. You're still in trouble because they could shoot the 3 ball with grace.
As in game 1 when they were down 19.
But you got Iguodala coming off the bench hitting threes. I mean, it's crazy.
In this NBA, everybody wants to make the 3, and the difference is Golden State makes their 3s, and that's honestly the difference. Like, it's not as if I don't necessarily know that Draymond Green and Klay Thompson are great players.
Right.
They don't have to be, but they make their shots.
Yeah.
And they're not like Houston missing 27 in a row. They're like the Celtics in Game 7 missing 3s and continuing to do it. There you go. And the Sixers live and die by the 3.
And Michael will agree with me. I think here in Game 3, that wasn't the Durant game. I think Game 2 was the Durant game. But Game 3, the Cleveland on their home floor was up probably 12 or 15 at one point, and Golden State was shooting terrible from the 3 line. What did they do? They kept shooting the 3. And you know what? They found their 3 ball again. And then it just gets
I think that was a game Curry was like 1 for 13 shooting, I believe.
Right, and he made a big shot at the end.
At the end, that was the one shot he made.
But the thing is, they don't go away from their 3s. They keep shooting. They could go 1 for 15, 1 for 20, every one of them, and they'll keep shooting and shooting and shooting 3s.
But they have if Steph Curry's not on his game, they have
Yep.
3 other guys that can pick it up for him.
Yep.
And that's what all these subpar teams have. The Torontos, they were the number 1 seed this year in the East, and people knew that they weren't going to win this year.
Yep.
It was set in stone that they had no chance to get out of the East.
And those first 2 games in Golden State, you saw Golden State as they were. When they went to Cleveland, you know what hurt them in Cleveland too? The one other factor nobody really looks at and talks about that much, Iguodala. He gave LeBron fits. He's a great defender.
That's his mantra. He's been Defensive Player of the Year candidate for the last 5-6 years.
Joe Rick said, I've never seen a team where every man on the floor has a vision to turn down good shots for passing teammates great shots.
I mean, you look at Livingston coming in the game. How many? You mean 11 in a row? In 3 games? He was unbelievable.
Those are the guys that you need on those teams, though. He's not going to say he wants to start. Yeah. When he gets in, he plays his game and hits his shots.
And how about McGee? I mean, this team is
McGee was actually a start. He's actually starting on that team.
And he gave him 10, 12 points a night. I mean, this team is so loaded depth-wise. It's crazy. That's what helps them too.
Can't beat him.
No.
You are watching Highly Opinionated on the Sports Box. Like and share the show. We appreciate that.
Damn straight.
Brian Attard, regular host Mike Galletta, and special guest Mike Velardi, pinch hitting, joining the show.
Mike only makes it better.
Pulling double duty tonight. I like that.
Mike squared only makes it better.
So we're going to get a little bit of the NHL. I've been taking some heat on Outside the Box, which you haven't yet joined Outside the Box.
Oh, yeah.
You should really join Outside the Box.
You've been catching a lot of heat.
So
I wonder why Bruce doesn't watch the show.
Well, it's whatever. Washington Capitals, in my opinion, this is they won the Stanley Cup. Listen, full marks, okay? And obviously, and you love to see the emotion, right? You love to see Ovechkin. You love to see, they're swimming in the pool, and they're just having
that
a good old
stuff
time.
was epic.
Yeah, no,
I absolutely loved everything that he did.
100%. Yeah.
Walking through the MGM, we talked about.
Yeah.
The only time you could ever win something, and they win it in Vegas.
Yeah, it's just,
and they're walking through the casino hotel with a Stanley Cup, and people are just like, "What is going on around here?"
Yeah,
it was phenomenal.
Again, not a predictable win in my opinion. I think once they got there, you might have said that they could do that. Listen, you got to give the Caps credit, but I will say this, and this is the problem that I have with the playoff system in the NHL, is I think it reduces the impact of the regular season. Let's just be honest here. If you look at the rosters in the Eastern Conference, it's hard for someone to tell me that the Caps are better than Tampa, Toronto, Boston, Pittsburgh. I think they're at best the 5th best team in their own conference.
Do you shorten the regular season though?
I don't know what I don't know. I don't.
I'm just saying.
But I just think that in hockey, if you
is it too long?
No, but they don't reseed anymore.
Well, that strike shortened season.
That is. Yeah.
That strike shortened season, Mike, was great.
94?
94.
No, it was 95. That's a 95.
That was
95. Yeah,
the 48
games. Fabulous. I mean, that was a run for the money.
But I just won the Hart, right? Lindros won the Hart trophy that year.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
I said repeatedly the Caps are not contenders. I understand that they won. It doesn't mean they're a contending team. It means everybody else fell in front of them.
Listen, everybody gets a shot, and the Flyers, even when they went against the Blackhawks that year, they were a 7 or 8.
But that's more the exception than the norm.
Well,
like literally,
Kings 8 seed. I told you.
But the Kings weren't really an 8 seed. I'm not talking about seeds here. I'm talking about the talent on the.
Listen, you could say, I guess in my opinion, you could say all you want that this team should have beat this team, and this team's better than this team, but in the same sense, they got to prove it when they get there.
But let me ask you this question, if you recall this. We're going
back
to
about reseeding, right?
We're going to go back to the YouTube days of the Sports Box. It was just you and me talking hockey playoffs, right?
Yep.
And I said to you, the Rangers are better off losing some games here and getting into the wild card to avoid Pittsburgh. Any playoff system that you have where you are rewarded for losing, I think is a problem. Mm-hmm. You should be trying to get up as high as possible. And you know who really got screwed in this whole thing is really the national players in the Winnipeg Jets. Because they had to play each other in the second round. And they were the 1 and 2 seeds in the West.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to spread out the West so all the good teams move on, and at the end they play each other.
They're making it divisional. I just don't understand. Literally.
But it's just the kind of way they fell.
Yeah, but I'm just... Yeah,
I know what you're saying, but the only way you eliminate that is you reseed. You know the NHL's not
But they
reseed.
haven't done that for 3 years. This isn't like a new... They used to do this.
Well, I just think you're getting into the NHL's keep doing things to try to make it better and better and better. And how many more things are going to do?
Guess what? They're not.
Dude, my ass is still chapped with the whole Patrick Kane not going to the Flyers thing.
Well, yeah.
The one year they want to switch the draft, we get James Van Riemsdyk, and then we trade him for a guy that I love and I hate. It was the worst thing I've ever said in my life.
I remember you. I think you used a plastic knife at me, saying it was a good trade.
I did
at the eye.
I totally regret that.
What was worse, that or Hartnell for Umberger?
See, I didn't mind that trade.
Umberger was horrible.
He was, but it was. I think it was the whole
deal.
contract. He got one less year or whatever.
Let me ask, in my personal opinion, and that's all that it is. I don't think either of these teams get anywhere close to this next year. I think the Caps has the Caps are up against it, and they got to figure that out.
I think Vegas has a lot of money.
One of their goalies might be gone to Caps.
Well, that's true.
If Holtby or Grubauer.
Well, they tried to get Grubauer in this year, and this first 2 games showed that.
He's not
Holtby's
the guy. I mean,
I don't
know what they were.
They're going to have to give him big money if he stays. So that's
he's signed for 2 more years. The problem is John Carlson.
Yeah.
And he will be a free agent. He's going to go somewhere, and that team is going to regret it within 2 years. He's going to get one of those deals that's like, 7 by 8.
Shaddy Deuce?
It's 4-year deal, though. It was a 4-year deal.
See, I think the Knights are like 24th in the league in salary cap. And if they get rid of 3 or 4 guys, they can reload again.
See, and I agree with. But here's the problem with the NHL that nobody's talking about is the cap's gone up a lot, and that's fine. But a lot of there's not that many like free agent players, and the guys that are there, they're not really that good. So it's not as if there's going to be what you're going to see. You know what you're going to see now in the NHL more we see in the NBA, where Mike Conley Jr. says $150 million deal.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Because it's just going to be a scarcity. You have all this cap space.
Yeah. But the free agency might go up a little bit with guys starting to deal down his deals. Instead of getting those 3 and 4 and 5 year deals, they maybe want the 1 year deal, like kind of like the NFL guys do. Do that 1 year and then they're out. Yeah,
but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. It's a little bit different in the NHL. Actually, I found one thing out there that I did not know. We talked a lot about John Tavares, whether he goes to the Islanders or leaves or somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So in the NHL, only the team that you played for can give you the 8th year. Everybody else gives you 7. Guess what? When July 1st hits, the Islanders can't even give him 8 anymore.
So Joe Rickson says, I hate the standings format. I do algebra every time to figure out the seedings.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
Again, it's not good.
In a perfect world, I think like you and me had said one time, maybe they reseed, but they're not going to reseed.
It's only been a couple of years.
They could go back.
No, but they like it. No, they like it when these teams aren't supposed to be good.
Right, but the NHL reviews stuff for years and years, and they're never going to reseed. They're not going to reseed till like 5 years from now.
Speaking of the NHL, how about our exciting news for the NHL and NBA drafts?
Oh, absolutely. Next week, we're going to have live second screen coverage on the Sports Box. NBA drafts on Thursday, NHL drafts on Friday, and we're going to see Paul McCree try to,
his iPad in one hand and
he's going to try to pronounce some European names, going to get them all wrong.
Yeah, probably.
You may have to.
I won't get upset. Yeah, I'll step in for him. Don't break my balls with that.
You should study. That's all.
I need to study.
You got to get the Europeans now.
Hushmazada?
Yeah,
Hushmazada. So again, Vegas kind of fell apart. I think we all. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, they
exceeded their expectations.
They blew their load getting
that friggin' game 3 when they missed every friggin' possible opening in the net and they hit every pipe and every crossbar. I've never seen it back. They must have hit about 8 crossbars in that game. That's unbelievable.
They do some fantastic pregame shows though.
Oh, they do.
It light shows.
Oh yeah,
That was awesome.
They are.
I could take or leave it. So drafts next week.
I liked it.
I like it, Mike.
Drafts next week. We'll talk a little bit here. So NBA. So Celtics apparently want to move up for Mo Bamba, and it's going to cost them a lot. I think they're talking to Dallas.
Good,
is that who they're talking to?
Yeah,
he's good.
I mean, they get him. Oh, Jesus.
He's an 8-foot wingspan.
See, but again,
just imagine that. An 8-foot wingspan.
That's sexy.
It just goes like this.
He just
raises his hand up.
He just reaches up. That's all.
Mm-hmm. What's your speculation here? I mean, does Boston make that move? What do the Sixers do? Like, who's trying to move up? Who's trying to move around?
It's what, next Thursday?
It's next Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a week from tonight.
Think about this. I think things are going to start happening in
motion.
Whoever, you got to understand something. You got so many things that can go into motion. The Sixers the last 2 years made trades. I think that something has to happen for this. Now, draft day trades in the NBA are very likely. You will see a ton of draft day trades in the NBA.
The guy gets his interview and he's already on
his own team.
I hate that.
Oh, that's bad.
Wow.
Why do you know? Why don't they let them trade and just? I mean,
pick them and then
they go out with the Milwaukee Bucks. It turns out you're going to Orlando.
And that's something they've been doing for years. Because Kobe was the same way.
Stupid.
Kobe got drafted by the Hornets. They started talking to him, and now he's going to the Lakers for Vlade Divac and some other guy.
Vlade.
Yeah. How about a Vlade Divac reference? Nice job by you.
You like that? I can pronounce that. Yeah.
That beard.
Yeah, go beer. Put a family of 5 in it.
I will say this: if I'm the Sixers, and I think you guys mentioned this on the show before, they have what 10 and 20.
22? No, 10 and 19.
No, I think it's 10 and 28, right?
10-28.
Yeah, they're later in the first
The
round.
Sixers have
They're later in the first round.
10 and 20. No. 26. 10 and 26.
Okay,
10 and 26.
After 10, it don't even
Sure,
matter.
but if I'm the Sixers, right?
Packers 10 and 26.
I do well to do one of two things:
Move-
either go
move
up
up.
in the draft or go get some veteran help that can play right now. At some point, you need guys that are going to play right away, and I don't necessarily know that there's going to be an impact guy.
You know they're not afraid to do it.
Let me
They've
ask you
done it.
this. Would you trade Fultz, Sarge, and your 10th for Kawhi Leonard?
I don't think it gets it done.
You can't do it.
Yeah,
you know why you can't?
I don't think it gets it done though.
Yeah, you might need more.
But even if it did, he's got 1 year left. Like you're giving up a lot there for no guarantee
But
you're
you're
going to have the
hoping
guy
he
for
likes
1
it
year.
here and stays here and you resign him.
I hope it's not a strategy.
Well,
I don't
Money
know.
is.
I get it. Oh no, I get it. But other
People
teams
see
have money
money.
too. I don't know. Again, I look at some
If
of
they
these
could move up and get Luka Doncic or somebody like that, that would be pretty fantastic.
Suns taking Aton. That's pretty much locked
Mike,
in.
you're going to need a
Yeah,
lot for him too.
'cause he's
You're going to need a lot to move up to number 2 or 3 anyway.
You don't think 10 and 22 and whatever 26 can get that done, and maybe a player?
To move into the top 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. Kings need a pick.
True.
I don't
The
know,
Kings
man.
are going to say, "Yo, yeah, let's do that." I mean,
Well, who knows?
I think the draft is going to turn at 5 because I think the Mavericks make a trade here, and I don't know who it's going to be with, and I think they're going to bend some team over to get up here, and maybe it's Mo Bamba, maybe it's
they
not.
may be able to get to 5 with that. They may be able to get the Mavs on that.
Well, they
I don't
have
think they're
Michael
top
Porter
3.
Jr. going here. He's an interesting case. He's a freshman. He only played 3 games at Missouri, I believe.
So he's the Mitch Trubisky of the draft.
But they're saying that this kid should have been the number 1 pick if he played all year.
Yeah.
But he's that good. For a kid that played 3 games and he's a top 5, hopeful, that's pretty good.
I mean,
if you think about the draft, the top 4 picks are the only really picks that matter, that step in and become players. So for somebody to move out of the top 3 for all that,
Well,
that's
tell that to
fresh.
Jason Tatum. See what happens.
Yeah.
so the Cavs here at 8. I mean, they're going to make this pick, or they're going to move around. Because if I'm the Cavs, I mean,
Why would you want to make that pick? The only problem is if you do lose LeBron, then where are you at then?
They're losing LeBron. They're counting.
I'm just saying.
LeBron. Yeah.
Where are you at then?
Yeah.
I mean, who is their starting 5 then? I mean, they got a bunch of those guys from the Lakers,
God, they got
Clarkson,
so
and a
much
bunch
money.
of them guys. They're just going to step
They
in.
got so much
They're
bad
gonna be
money
bad.
tied
You know
up.
they're going to be bad next
Oh, they're
year.
going to be
right?
bad. And they got so much
They're
money
gonna be
tied up in
bad.
bad players. Like George Hill, Love. Oh, my God. All those guys had like $19, $20 million deals.
Joe
Crazy.
Rickson, depends on how many other teams are in the market to move up. With Celtics and some other teams, Jones to move up, I think it's going to take more than 10 and 26 in a
Yeah.
Jonesy, I like
And you
that.
know what? Well done by you.
Yeah.
That's a great point because, open up the market. If other teams are looking to move up and they're going to be aggressive, prices might go up and it might be cost prohibitive. It might just cost way too much.
If you give them a 10, a 26, a player, and a first next year, that might get it done.
Yeah, that problem.
It is a lot, though.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
you
You're
really got to
rolling
make
the,
sure.
rolling the dice heavy to see.
But
if
the
this
problem
fits.
is I don't. Besides Doncic, I don't know. I would not take Trae Young if you're the Sixers. But like we were saying on the other show, Ben wants to be. They don't want to move Ben from the point guard. They need a shooting guard right now.
You got to let him stay in that position.
Wasn't that
and
what
learn.
Fultz
But the-
supposed to be?
Right. Well, he was drafted as a point guard out of Washington.
Right.
But the problem is let's say you get LeBron. LeBron likes to take the ball up too.
Right.
So now, if you don't get LeBron and you draft somebody who, and let's say they move up and grab Doncic or somebody, whose
doesn't
spot
fit.
does he take? Does he take Redick's spot? Does he take Covington's spot?
Yeah.
Whose spot does he take? I mean,
Yeah,
I think
then-
he take Covington's spot.
Right,
but-
and that's the big missing piece too. Is Redick? I mean, where's he fall in all this? It's all about fit, and one guy is going to change this whole dynamics for the Sixers team, or it's going to plug in perfectly. So.
We'll see. I mean, again, watch our draft show live on Thursday night. The boys will be going over the NBA draft. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of surprises. There always is.
And I promise I won't get as pissed this time.
Well, yeah, you don't.
I
Yeah, you
promise.
won't
Except for
get,
NFL draft.
I will not get as
you
bad.
won't get as mad this
Yeah.
time. NHL draft's the next night, Friday the 22nd. Again, we'll be doing that live as well.
Mike, you going to be here for all 6 rounds?
I'm there. I'm there. I might even just sleep over, Brian Tees.
So,
I might be there for 10 and I'm out.
Yeah.
some color on the NHL. So Buffalo's going to take Rasmus Dahlin at 1. That's the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
They're not going to move out of that spot. I think it's an absolute great
Poor
pick.
kid. He's going to the NHL. He's going to Buffalo.
I think what you're going to see is I think Carolina. I believe Carolina's pick is in play, and I say that because Svechnikov and Zadina, who are the consensus 2 and 3. They're both wingers. And Carolina has been looking for an impact center here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it would take a lot, but I could see Carolina moving. Again, they won this lottery. They moved up 9 spots.
Right.
Like, that's awesome for them. Pretty crap for everybody else. But, you know, as a range, I would love Svechnikov. I do. But I wouldn't give up that. Wouldn't pay up for them. Mm-hmm. So a couple of things on the local teams I kind of want to talk about to get kind of your take. From a Flyer perspective, and we'll do them first. The Flyers are picking at 14 and 19.
Mm-hmm. Trade it. Trade both of the picks and move on.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about this. Whether you trade them or you don't, what I would do if I was Ron Hextall with the Flyers picks is I would take the biggest boom or bust players that you can. And I say that because the system is already deep at pretty much every position. At this point, if these 2 picks bust, it's not going to make or break you. You have a very, very deep set of guys that you can afford it. So I would rather go for the boom or bust, give me a potential Hall of Famer or a guy who's not going to make it into the league. I don't want to take a risk here.
How about 14, 19, and Couturier?
Nah, Simmons.
Won't do it.
Simmons is the guy who's going to
Gets in the top 5. Yeah, but Simmons is older now. I don't know if Simmons...
Wayne Simmons, there is literally nobody in the top 13 picks that would take Wayne Simmons right now.
What I'm saying is I think he could be your trade piece anywhere.
I
don't know if it's for a draft
Not
pick.
with a year left, though.
I think 14, 19, and Couturier gets in the top 10 somewhere. Maybe low bottom 10. 9 or 10.
I don't think there's no way that's worth moving up 4 spots. I'm telling you right now. No team's going to do
No, you'd be surprised.
I know where you're in hockey, the prices aren't that much. I mean, they are, but they're not. What you're referencing, 2 first picks and a legit number 1 center get you in the top 5, but these teams are going to do that.
Well, if you look at Edmonton, for example, at number 10, they would take Couturier and then still have 14 and 19. I mean, that's a pretty good
Now, Lou
deal.
Pardew's saying Flyers trade 14 a package for Mike Hoffman. Be careful what you wish for. So Mike Hoffman's involved with this drama thing with his girlfriend and Eric Carlson and the wife.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot
I saw that
going on.
restraining
We take
order
the
thing. That's
girlfriend. I'll take the girlfriend.
I'll take the girlfriend, too. I agree, Mike. Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean...
Again, for the Flyers, I wouldn't be opposed to them moving down either. I just think for them, it's boomer bust type guys. They don't need potential second and
I
third line
wouldn't put it
players.
past Hextall to move down with those picks. I wouldn't. At 14, I mean, you're really going to get a guy that's, okay.
Well,
But moving down, get a couple more picks, I mean, why not?
again, I'm not opposed to that for them, but I just don't think they need guys that they don't need Scott Lawtons here. Like they don't need guys who are going to figure out to be your 3 center.
Oh, Matt Reed's a stud.
Oh my god.
What a waste of a contract that is.
So
It's funny, in the last 10 or 15 years, and I know obviously the NHL is trending, but nowadays in college, it's like death to be a goaltender. Because how many times do goalies get taken in the first round?
Oh, they don't.
I don't know. Ask the Flyers. They take one every year. So.
Well,
But
but
not first round anymore.
here's what I would say.
I mean, back in the day, like 10 years ago, goalies used to go maybe the end of the first round, middle of the first. Not anymore. They go like middle, if anything, end of the second round.
Goalie has become a quantity position because it's so hard to project.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so these guys, I mean, think about it. Lundqvist was a 7th round pick.
Well, but a goalie back in the day would anchor your team because the last line defense, you'd get a stud goalie like a Brodeur, like a Wah, like somebody like that would anchor your team and get you over the hump. Now, like you said, it's not that big of a deal. They want to get the wingers and defensemen out of the way first, get the scoring, get the defense, and then worry about the goalie later.
What I think's happened, though, is I think teams have gotten burned so much on their goalies, and I think they're very, very. Not a lot of first round guys make it, And again, Carter Hart supposedly one of the better prospects, 2nd round pick.
You could be like Carolina and start Cam Ward for the last 20 years.
Wow.
And not do anything with your life.
Joe Rickson wants to know, when you get done talking draft, he wants to know what Tavares is going to do.
In my personal opinion, I think he's staying.
I think he's staying.
I
said it before.
Ron Hextall's already said that the Flyers will not make an attempt to assign him, and they will not make an attempt to assign. He basically was targeting him, an older player, and that wants a 7 or 8 year deal. So that's good. That's good to know, though, for the Flyers.
They just signed Filippo again.
Yeah, that he's still up in the air about Filippo.
Jesus,
I think Tavares stays. I think the Lamoriello thing, Brian. And by the way, I'm not a Lamoriello guy. I really feel he's the most overrated executive in hockey history because you know what?
Won 3 cups with the Devils.
He drafted Marty Brodeur. And the story.
Exactly. And the trap.
That's Jacques Lemaire. It's not him.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is
that's why they did that to keep Tavares there.
Yeah. No. Now again,
they're going out of their way to try to keep him.
But here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. The New York Islanders have until July 1st. If he gets to free agency, he's gone. The biggest thing the Islanders have right now is they can offer him the 8th year.
They're going to push him to sign. They're going to try to get him signed.
Are they moving out of that place, that dungeon?
They're supposed to be
They're
building.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Barclays. They're supposed to be building something around Belmont.
Yeah. But did they start it yet?
No, I know of.
No.
The Islanders are like the homeless
That may
team.
have kept them there, but...
Yeah. I think he stays. I think it happens before July 1st. If he goes
They're
to
probably
July
going to give him
1st,
stock.
we'll see. We'll see about that. Rangers sitting at 9. I think it's pretty obvious what the Rangers are going to do here. I think there's 3 forward. I think they would love it if Tkachuk fell. I think they would love it if Wahlstrom fell. And I think if they don't go with either of them, it's a defenseman or it's Jesperi Kotkaniemi. I think that's where they're looking right now. Wouldn't surprise me if they go defense at 9.
They got to go defense, I think.
Do you think that Dahlin is the number 1 pick in the
Hard.
draft?
Hard.
I mean, if you were number 1, would you
Yeah.
take him?
Yeah.
It's not just a need?
No.
He's been talked about for a while now.
No.
Yeah, I've heard all
For a
kinds of stuff
defenseman
about
to
it.
get taken number 1, it's impressive, though.
It happens.
It's impressive.
At Gladwin,
I'm just saying,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
impressive, though. You got to be really good.
He's supposed to be better than
lights
Erik
out,
Karlsson.
Yeah.
He's going to be. We talked.
He starts right away?
Absolutely, no question about it.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot
Especially
about
in Buffalo.
I mean, but, with everything, with Eichel and the picks that they've had, and at some point,
Yes, something's got to work for these
something's
guys.
got to give. And this is a
Lerner's still there, right? Robin Lerner still is he still there?
Yeah, that's
What I'm saying is he was at first the number 1 goalie, and they were talking about, but I mean, except for Hasek, who have they had in goal since?
Ryan Miller.
Oh yeah, that's true. He had some good years
You
here.
want to talk about the Flyers
Hardy's been
and their problems and stuff like that, and how they haven't got over the hump. This Buffalo team, when's the last time they've been any good?
It's been a while.
It's been long. It's been decades.
Like he said, like Ryan Miller when he was there, they had some good teams, and he was a good goalie.
They never put anybody around.
But the same thing with like Roberto Luongo, good goalies, and I feel like they don't even. I don't want to get you started, but
Get him started.
no, because I feel that Lundqvist is a good goalie, and I wish that they would put. His time is running out. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, his window is closing.
It just
The Rangers are not going.
I hate the Rangers, but I actually like the guy. I think he's a great goalie.
I think he's going to finish as a top 5 goaltender of all time. And I think that, especially when you consider the fact that this Rangers management is so damn inept that they had this advantage over everybody else in the league, and they couldn't build a team that got it done. Having said that,
I think on the top 10.
they had their shot. They just blew it.
But that's what I'm saying. You have the Ryan Millers, the Luongos,
Right.
the Lundqvist. These guys are good goalies who have nothing really to show for it.
No.
Right.
They don't have anything to show for it.
No.
Cujo even.
I'm not saying the Rangers are a bad team.
I am saying the Rangers are a bad team.
saying that Miller with Florida, they had one good year when they hit rats all over the ice. But
The Beezer?
yeah. Well, but when like Luongo, you put him on any team during that run, he wins a cup somewhere.
Look at Fleury.
Henrik
Fleury goes to Vegas and
Lundqvist
takes
wins the
him far.
Stanley Cup with about 10 teams in the league. The problem with the Rangers, you can say it now when you look back. Those teams were not very good.
No.
They had a couple of players, but Lundqvist was everything to them, and it just wasn't enough. And they're going to have to live with that stain on the franchise forever. Yeah. Nobody's wearing 30 again for New York. That number's getting retired.
Right.
Yeah,
he's a Hall of Famer.
Another banner downstairs.
I'm still waiting for the John Rattel. But if I'm the Rangers here again, I'm hoping somebody falls. And, you hear a lot about, who can go where. Listen, if Brady Tkachuk or Oliver Wahlstrom fall to 9, they're going to be a New York Ranger. The question then becomes do they want Kotkaniemi over some of these defensemen? And I don't know. You hear Bouchard, you hear Dobson. That'll be interesting. What I'm curious to see is what they do at 26 and 28, because I could see them package up. I could see them package down. I could see them move it. There's always this rumor of Dougie Hamilton out of Calgary. There's a lot that can happen there. So
in light of how they got these 3 picks in the first round.
Well, okay, so the 26 pick. The 26 pick came from Boston in the Rick Nash trade.
That was the Nash deal. Yeah.
The 28 came from Tampa in the Ryan McDonough trade.
Right.
Okay.
And they also, if the Lightning win the Cup next year, it's another one that they get.
Right.
They also happen to have, and this won't show it.
Is that your favorite to win the Cup next year? Tampa?
Sure.
No,
them or
you
Nash.
want them to.
Them or Nash.
You want them
Not really matter. They're just the best team. They also have the Devils pick in round 2 due to the Grabner trade.
Okay.
So
yeah, that worked out for them this year. He had almost 30 goals.
They got 5. They got 5 picks in the first I think 50. I mean, they're in a good spot to rebuild the team, but it's not going to happen quickly. And again, Lundqvist is going to, I don't know. He said he wants to stay. If he wants to stay, he wants to stay. Listen, he has a no trade clause in his contract or a no movement clause, so he's going to control these. He's going to control his fate. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. And I can respect that. But having said that, as a Ranger fan, I've said this before, I want them to bottom out. And I know that the Ranger Twitter right now is very much in different camps. It's either let's get this going quickly for his sake, or let's really just go get elite players. And guess what? You go back and look at teams that have won the Stanley Cup. They've had top 2 picks.
Did you start him on this?
I said the Rangers.
Well, listen.
We're talking about the draft.
The Caps had Ovechkin, number 1 pick.
And he finally won this year.
The Blackhawks had, Taves and Kane, very high picks.
They won a lot, though.
The Penguins had Malkin and Crosby and Jordan Stahl when they had him, and Fleury. They were high picks. Yeah. The Kings had Drew Doughty, was the 2nd overall pick. So
all these teams you're mentioning, though, have won cups during that time.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there's a string.
And multiple cups.
The only team that seems to be picking high is Edmonton. They can't put it together.
Every team you mentioned, I think, has at least 2 cups in the last 10
Not
12
for
years.
Washington.
Well, yeah, one.
But no, absolutely. But because they've hit their high picks.
Right. Well, Edmonton did for a while.
Well, Edmonton, the problem is Edmonton can't hit the high
Last
picks.
year they were on fire. We put them to go to the Cup this
first
year, and then this year they bottomed out. This year I don't know what the hell happened to them. They just
Connor McDavid still showed up.
Yeah, Cam Talbot didn't.
Well, that was,
and I already told you that he's
crashing back to earth.
I said that.
I said it changes here would do him good, but he proved me wrong this year. He crashed down to earth.
So, I'm interested to see what the Islanders do. I think an underrated team in this draft is Detroit. Got a lot of firepower, especially in the 2nd round, thanks to the Rangers. But anyway, either way, keep us on the loop next Friday night for the NHL Draft. We'll be live talking about that as well.
But notice who's not in the 1st round this year. It's Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, yeah, they keep trading their picks.
Yeah.
That's a pick that went to
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
And they're going to need those picks soon because guess what? Their window is starting to close. Now, I wouldn't say it's closed yet, but it's starting because
Joe Rickson is a Devils fan. Not happy about that grabbing the trade. He might be a Ranger before we know it. Talk a little bit of NFL. Mini camps opened up. You hear a lot about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Apparently, he's very, very impressive. I don't think Joe Flacco loses the job, but I got to tell you,
Harbaugh's talking about both of them playing like during games together.
Alternating them.
Yes.
Okay.
He came out on online yesterday and said it.
That
I don't like that at all.
No.
Especially this guy's won a Super Bowl for you. Flacco.
Yeah, I mean that's a slap in the face.
And he has signed a big contract.
Right.
And you're gonna be making him go in and out with this guy.
Right, and I don't care if he had a decent year, bad year, whatever the case may be. Like you said, Mike, he won a Super Bowl for him. How do you do that to a guy? I mean, that's awful.
Well,
let him just bottom out first, and then put.
If you're going to do that, then just trade him. Then get rid of him. Okay, get something for him and let him go on to his career and let him play somewhere he can start and kick your ass.
Well, just because I'm interested, I would like to know exactly how long Joe Flacco was signed for, and I know
that's a long time. I think, and it's a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of money.
I'm pretty sure
top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
I'm pretty sure it's long term, and I'm pretty sure it's.
I'm going to say he's got at least 3 more years,
if not longer. Joe Flacco.
$24 million cap hit.
That's not good. Joe Flacco signed through 2021. Yeah. So he's got this year and 3 more.
What's he making a year?
Base salary's 12, 18.5, 20.5, 24.
24.
His cap,
$24 million are going to rotate.
He won't even beat her.
His cap hits 20. It's 24, 26, 28, 24. That's a lot.
Is that if they get rid of him too?
Now there's a potential out after 2020. I'm not sure what the terms of that are.
He'll be out. Away now. Oh yeah. If they do that to him, he's gonna be out. He's asked for a trade.
Joe Rickson, will the Jets be able to field a team with all their players getting arrested?
Robbie Anderson said he's ready to. He's cured.
Who's getting arrested?
He's cured.
Who like this get arrested?
No, not that it's earth-breaking news, but did you see Hackenberg got cut from Oakland?
Yes. How do you trade for somebody to cut him?
That's horrible.
I thought Oakland was on the way back, and then it just totally just shot everything to hell.
I mean, you couldn't see that the guy couldn't play, and then you bring him in, you trade for him, like you said, and then you get rid of him.
That's not good. Reports out of Philly, Carson Wentz looks on pace to start the season. Looks great. Yeah. Looks great.
What are you going to say? He looks terrible? I mean,
he does look. In 7-on-7s, he looks fine.
Yeah.
Doug came out today and said that they are splitting first-team reps. Now, this can only mean that, obviously, he wants Nick Foles to be ready. If Wentz is not ready to go.
They better be careful with Wentz because if they rush this injury back and something happens,
I don't think that they will.
No, I don't think they will either. But if they do, I mean, he looks okay. He feels okay. He sounds like he wants to go, and he goes in and gets hurt again. Oh, Jesus!
They may need
get the Super Bowl MVP behind him.
Relax. Yeah, not the whole year. You ain't gonna get there the whole year.
Brian T. Love
they may need to protect him from himself. Because every athlete wants to go out there and support their team, and you know he's hungry. Yeah. He just saw his team. He saw somebody else win his ring. Yeah. Okay? So you know he's hungry.
True.
You know, and that's where you got to be like,
that's okay. That's good.
I'm not saying it's bad, but at the same time, you don't want to risk his future for a couple of great games in September.
I agree.
But in the same sense, if Nick Foles go in, the people are blinded by, he did play at the end of the year and got them to the Super Bowl and they won, but he can't handle a whole year.
Listen, the fans know that Nick Foles is not the quarterback in Philadelphia.
I don't know that the fans know.
They
that.
know.
I don't
know
know that.
I think some of them do, Mike.
Dude, come on. If you poll every season ticket holder or Philadelphia sports fan, they would tell you that Carson Wentz is the quarterback of this team. They could care less what Nick Foles does.
I was told you can't trade Foles unless it's like 5 first-round picks and like a stadium. Somebody said that.
I never said that. What I'm trying to tell you is that people know that Wentz is the future of this team.
He is a franchise.
What Foles did last year was I don't know how the hell he did it.
Right.
But he's not that. They don't. You think they want to see him week 1, Foles? Come on, no, there's no way, man.
Listen,
no way.
I'm just telling you, Philadelphia fans are a little quirky. I'm just saying.
What do you think the impact is of Edelman?
I was going to say, yeah.
So
games.
Just the Patriots cheating again. That's all I got to say.
Well, here's what I would say. Okay, but just to be fair,
Brady was the Oprah.
He missed all 16 last year.
Yep.
So it's not as if this team can't win without him. Now, the interesting part is they're not going to have Danny Amendola this year.
No.
There's a couple interesting names that still don't have a job. Des Bryant, Eric Decker, Jeremy Maclin. I could see one of these guys end up in New England on some sort of a deal. It's probably not going to be Des because
I can see Maclin going there.
Des seems to think he's worth this money, and he's not.
Yeah.
Well, Des is starting to find out that he didn't take the contract from the Ravens. He's probably biting himself in the ass right now. That they actually gave him that much money. He said, "No, I'm worth more." When you're not.
Yeah.
When you're not.
And quickly, I want to get in. I don't understand. Well, I kind of understand because he's a nut job. But T.O. not wanting to go to the Hall of Fame.
Apparently, it's a money thing. So nobody would pay for it.
That's
I saw on Twitter, and Brian's right.
Let me tell you something.
The teams that he played for, so you got Dallas, Philly, San Francisco,
Francisco.
whoever, nobody wanted to pay for his party at the Hall of Fame. Nobody stepped up and said it. So that's why he's not going.
Terrell Owens, if you're watching the show, come party with us at the Sports Box. You're invited.
That will be the biggest stamp on his life that he will have to live with the rest of his life, and that's horrible.
He fought so hard to get into the Hall of Fame.
And now he's going to not go.
And now he's not going to go. And that kind of pissed me off as a fan.
That is
I was a fan of him.
I would like T.O. too. I mean,
the 1 year he was with the Eagles, he was shattered record.
I think if he played with San Francisco his entire career and had his head on straight, he probably could have gotten close to Jerry Rice's record.
Possibly. He's what?
Possibly.
Top 5 in receiving, right?
Yeah.
He's top in touchdowns, I believe.
You don't get in the Hall of Fame unless you're up there.
Xavier Couchy, Oakland won't give a pick to the Jets because they cut Hackenberg before a certain date. Raiders found out Hackenberg sucks in 3 weeks. Took the Jets 3 years.
But the point is, why would you trade for him then?
Why don't you
just check the film and say it sucks?
What film? Let him play.
No, I think they called games they had Jets play them in preseason.
Not preseason. So obviously we film here in New Jersey. The big news around here is sports betting is good to go. The Borgata took their first bets earlier today.
I thought it was me going to Canada, but obviously something different.
Mm-hmm. So the big news in New Jersey.
Big news about me going to Canada. Yeah.
So, it's interesting here for the guys. Again, so the Borgata is set up. Apparently, the Ocean Resort, which is opening in a couple of weeks, is set up as well. It's going to be a much bigger setup. Interesting news, though. So, Golden Nugget. There's some ownership issues because apparently one of the primary owners of the Golden Nugget also owns the Houston Rockets. Mm-hmm. And therefore, there's thought that they might not be able to have NBA wagering at the Golden Nugget as a result. Now, I think they'll take that trade-off. Because you were telling me that you can still get football and college football other than Rutgers. That's probably, I'll take that if I'm the Golden
I saw some of the regulations today at the Borgata. Pretty much it says you can't bet on high school football, obviously. You can't bet on New Jersey games. Okay, so any team from New Jersey,
it makes sense.
You can't bet on it.
You can't bet the Giants.
I saw something too. Coaches, athletes, and something can't wager as well. Now I don't know if that means, underage people or I think they're just trying to put that regulation out there. Like, hey, listen, we don't want you doing this. You're not really supposed to, type thing.
Another interesting one is the Hard Rock, which is going to be the new incarnation of the Trump Taj Mahal. Is the Hard Rock has the naming rights to the Miami Dolphins Stadium. Therefore, they may not be able to have any wagering at all. Oof. Because the NFL is the one really kind of dragging this here, and they don't want it.
But I can see, if you're in the same state, I can see how they want to regulate that because easy to
I
fix
get
that.
it.
Then.
No, but you may see them actually sell that stadium naming rights so they can do what they need to do.
They're trying to
possibility.
they're trying to throw it out there, but they're trying to be real careful with this, trying to get all the glitches out.
Well,
early and all
let's
the
be. I mean,
situations that could happen.
sports betting is going to probably account for 5% of all wagering on the casino floor.
Delaware made what, $330,000 the first day.
Yeah, and then lost it.
Not bad. Not a bad take.
Sports betting is not going to make or break Atlantic City casinos. What it's going to do is bring people in.
It will.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
will.
And that's really the whole.
Did you see the line at the Borgata today?
Yeah, everyone wants to do it. For also, what I'm hearing though is the Caesars, and Harrah's and Bally's, like they're kind of waiting for, I guess, to see how it goes. Everyone that's going to be able to is going to have some kind of a sports book. Again, the Borgatas will be bigger eventually. Same thing with Oceans. But it's a fun time. You know, you always hear people that do things, a little shady, betting when they shouldn't be doing it. But, now it's going to be fully legal. And you know what?
Again, you're not going to stop him. Might as well make money on it.
You're exactly 110% right. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see, how the leagues handle it. I was listening to sports radio today, and there was a college football analyst or college basketball that he said, I am not permitted to place a bet on anything.
Yeah.
On anything that the NCAA has a presence in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they legalized pot. You're not going to stop him. Might as well make money on it.
So, any final thoughts, guys, on the show? I want to thank you for making it. I appreciate that.
I'm here for the
Because
people.
the show needs you.
Yeah, no.
The show needs you.
A lot of people might
That's
not
why it's
agree
highly
with that.
opinionated.
Yeah, a lot of people might not agree with that, but I'm here. But yeah, no, man, a good show. Thank Mike, thanks for popping out.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
guest hosting, pulling double duty
I
tonight.
I'm glad Mike was here and nobody went through the table. That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
It's gonna happen.
Mike's an angler for it.
Actually, I tried to move this table earlier.
Oh,
and
you're not moving it.
It didn't really move. So
No,
if Paul went through this, he would not move through it.
Paul
He would
would
have been a back brace.
He
for
would go.
6
He would
months.
get medevaced out of here if Paul goes through. I'm telling you, could get a car and run this table over. And you're not breaking it.
Joe
it's-
Rixon,
it's-
as an athletic department employee at NCAA institution, can't bet on any sport that is also NCAA sanctioned. Wasn't
Yeah.
that everything, though? I mean, they got baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I mean, it's really not.
They're gonna be careful.
Are you going to bet cricket? Is there NCAA cricket?
Ooh.
You want to start betting
I wanna
cricket?
start cricket.
That's awesome. Mike Velardi wants to know who the 2018 Super Bowl champions. I'm assuming that's next year.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to say who I think. Patriots. I don't think I'm going to deviate from that.
No,
NASCAR and the ponies,
I'm not-
Wilson says.
NASCAR is the
Now, you can bet NASCAR, you
I'm
can bet the
going to
ponies.
throw. This is totally premature, but I'm throwing this out there as a Super Bowl. Hey, I'll say champ, the Houston Texans,
You like Watson, don't you?
really.
because I think that their defense is going to be one of the best in the league. And
Watson.
they got
Yeah.
Tyrann Mathieu, and
Deshaun Watson.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
watch.
that's a good pick.
Well, what I will tell you is this. Next week on the Sports Box, Thursday and Friday night, will be live draft coverage, NBA Thursday, NFL Friday.
Check out tomorrow. We got golfing tomorrow.
Golf's
baby.
back.
Golfing, baby. We're gonna talk U.S. Open. We'll talk all kinds of stuff.
Gonna
The
talk-
St. Jude Classic.
Going to talk Shinnecock and those low scores today.
Brutal at Shinnecock. I'd probably shoot 114 there.
I just think can you say that
Front
again?
nine.
Can you say that again?
Shinnecock.
It's just funny if people say that to me. I just think it's funny.
I'll tell you what.
Where the hell is that?
That's a dream course.
Where is that?
New York.
New York.
Where in New York? Like the state?
It's towards like Long Island. isn't it?
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
somewhere around there.
I the exact city name is not.
It's
not
better than
Shinnecock.
It's better than Beth Page Black. I know that.
Interesting.
Brian,
Yeah.
Michael T just wanted to say. I just wanted Brian T. Attard to say how the Eagles.
Well, that's fine.
We're saying that.
I didn't. I'm not gonna pick them to win.
I just love that Brian saw in his life the Eagles win, and he actually congratulated me, which is a big step for Brian.
A big step. Big step.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I loved it.
Baby
I
steps.
loved it.
Congratulations.
So, tell them, make sure they like, follow, and share.
Well, absolutely. And listen, a couple things. Make sure that you like and share the Sports Box. We're doing it for you guys. Got a lot of great stuff coming every week. We're here every damn week.
And
Breaking it down for you.
Mike Velardi over here putting in a little overtime for us. That's
Listen,
beautiful.
Big V right here, a big part. So the normal, and again, this is the normal.
Oh, that was a W.
Big V.
Are you trying to Villanova?
V.
The normal way that we do it is Monday nights is teeing off with Mike Galletta and Lou Parducci. Tuesday nights, we're working on Tuesday nights actually I think open right now because baseline jumper / diamond cars is on Thursday. We're going to work on a little bit
We
of
got
a
to put
different.
the summer schedule
There'll be a
together.
rebranding on that.
Yeah.
If you missed ringside seat last night, you missed a lot of just phenomenal wrestling analysis
Money
by
in the bank.
myself and Anthony Morella.
Baby!
Make sure you check the replay. It's on YouTube as well. We're here every Wednesday night. Myself, Mikey Galletta over here. Just bringing it to you guys. I mean,
When I'm not in Toronto.
when you're not when you're in the country, you're
When
here.
I'm in the country, I'm here. Yeah. I'll be in the Northeast next week.
World Cup.
Oh yeah.
North American
Actually-
World Cup.
Actually, we can get first game of the U.S. against. Oh shit, U.S. isn't in it.
I guarantee the
Oh,
U.S.
man.
will be undefeated this year in the World
Yeah,
Cup.
but
They're
you know
not
what?
North
losing
America
a game.
got it in 2026.
They
North
did.
America, Mexico,
Could you?
U.S.,
Could
Canada.
you imagine the embarrassment if USA doesn't get in that?
No.
Oh,
My
my
no,
God. They
Host,
got it
host
like a
country gets
decade.
in.
I'm not a soccer guy, but my
I
understanding is the
think
host
host
country's
country-
automatic in.
I
Oh,
think,
are they
I
on
think
that
so.
plan? Okay. So,
Maybe
so
that's
it's
the
not
only way they
total
qualify.
embarrassment. Yeah, that's probably good.
That was
They're,
probably-
they're putting it from 32 teams to 60-some teams that year.
probably
They are.
They probably won't get in that year either.
Yeah, I don't know. What's
Oh.
going on.
They haven't been in like decades. They haven't been in the World Cup. It's freaking embarrassing.
As long as Cool Runnings gets in, I'm good. To the Jamaican bobsled team.
Cool running. All right, we'll go.
Just give All-Star a shout out.
All-star entertainment for weddings, graduations, whatever you need them for, parties, whatever. Give Greg a call, 609-271-3900. Mention this ad, 20% off your booking. Oh,
That's just phenomenal.
that's
honestly.
God.
Like, you know what? Like, we bring that savings to the people.
Oh,
We're here for the people.
I feel like I need to smoke.
Whoa, I don't smoke, so you can do whatever you want.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. That's all. So I'll let you let me out, but you can dance your way out with a little,
All right.
little thing on the end. Make sure you keep an eye on the sports box. Make sure you're watching the draft coverage.
Yeah, baby!
Hey!
One, two, three.
Don't forget to subscribe.